Welcome to OMB's Procurement Card Training for Cardholders. This training is a requirement for all employees who intend to become procurement cardholders. Employees must take this training and score 100% on the test to get a P-card. Employees may take the test as many times as necessary. Once you've passed the test, retain the training certificate to attach to the application form. This training will introduce you to the basics of the procurement card use and to the responsibilities of cardholders. The training is divided into 2 sections. Each section is followed by a graded test designed to confirm your understanding of the information presented. Section 1 will address policies, processes, and procedures related to the procurement card program. It will touch on procurement card basics, what it is and when to use it, an overview of Metro's procurement card policy, and what you need to do to obtain a procurement card. Section 2 will discuss roles and responsibilities. A P-card is a type of commercial card that will allow your department to take advantage of the existing credit card infrastructure to make electronic payments for goods and services. In the simplest terms, a P-card is a charge card similar to a consumer credit card. However, Louisville Metro government must pay the bank in full each month. P-cards will make it easier to acquire goods and services according to purchasing policies so employees can focus more of their time and effort on their core job responsibilities. Cardholders will not have to get a PO for their purchases on a P-card. Use of the P-card will be governed by Metro's purchasing policy and the P-card policy. This is an overview of the P-card process. The cardholder makes a purchase using their P-card. The merchant will receive authorization from the bank to process the purchase. The cardholder will receive their purchases from the store or from an online purchase. Once received, the cardholder should scan the receipt. The cardholder processes each transaction and concur, and the approver verifies that the purchase was an appropriate use of Metro funds and that the account being charged is correct. If the transaction is not approved, he or she will return it to the cardholder for more information. Once approved, the P-card office will audit transactions for compliance to policies and procedures. The P-card policy is available on the P-card website. This training will touch on the key aspects of the policy, but please read the policy in its entirety for a full understanding of information. The P-card program makes buying small purchases simpler and easier and allows for online purchases as well. It can be used for items on contract or not on contract. Please refer to the Pay to Procure grid on the P-card website for specifics on purchasing items on contract. It does not, however, replace or supersede Metro's purchasing policy. All the rules and processes outlined in the purchasing policy are still in effect for purchases on the P-card. The default spending limits for all cardholders are as follows. The per transaction limit is $2,500 and the monthly limit per cardholder is $10,000. A P-card is for non-travel related purchases which are authorized Metro business expenses. Some examples of acceptable purchases are tools and hardware, office supplies, dues and subscriptions, books, publications, periodicals, professional organization memberships, conference registration and training fees, and employee training. Here are some examples of items that are restricted: cash advances, receiving cash back, salaries and wages, charitable contributions, controlled substances and narcotics, travel including airfare, rental car, passports, lodging, meals, gasoline, immunizations, etc., firearms and ammunition, gasoline. A fuel card must be used to purchase gasoline for Metro-owned vehicles. Gift cards, insurance, legal services, personal use, services subject to personal service contracts, such as consultants, legal services, etc., A complete list of restricted purchases is in the PCARD policy. Use of the PCARD for personal purchases is strictly forbidden. In the event that a Louisville Metro PCARD is unintentionally used for personal items, immediately report the purchase to the PCARD office. Staff will assist you in resolving this issue and to reimburse Louisville Metro for the personal charge. Louisville Metro is a tax-exempt institution. This means that Metro purchases are exempted from Kentucky sales taxes. Most merchants will require proof of sales tax exempt status. The sales tax exempt certificate can be found on the PCARD website. Cardholders are responsible for ensuring that merchants do not charge sales tax. Remind the merchant before you make a purchase that Louisville Metro is tax exempt. The sales tax exemption number is also on your PCARD. If a merchant does charge sales tax, the cardholder is responsible for contacting the merchant to obtain a credit. Accepting cash back is not allowed. Documentation of attempts to obtain credit for sales tax charges must be maintained with the documentation of the original transaction where the tax was charged. Internet purchases are allowed with a PCARD, but all restrictions that apply to a PCARD also apply to purchases on the internet. It is very important to have a documented receipt for your internet purchases. Websites will vary on what they offer as a documented receipt. Websites that do not present an online receipt can still be utilized. The customer should print screens that reflect the items being purchased and the amount, and then ensure that transaction date, merchant, and other pertinent information is recorded on the printed documentation. How do you get a PCARD? First, you must complete this training and score 100% on the test. Second, complete the authorization form that is on the PCARD website and obtain your supervisor, approver, and director's signatures. You will also need to indicate your business purpose for having a card. The business purpose is the stated need that aligns with the programs or operations of the cardholders department. Finally, complete the online application and attach the authorization and training certificate, and check the box indicating you accept the user agreement. The PCARD office will verify all the information is completed and submit the cardholder information to the bank. You should be able to pick up your card in 3 to 5 business days. And now, let's test your knowledge. Section 2 addresses roles and responsibilities associated with the PCARD. What are the cardholder's responsibilities? Here are the do's. Adhere to Louisville Metro's PCARD policy. Accept the PCARD user agreement on the PCARD application. The user agreement is available for review on the PCARD website. Activate your card upon receipt. There will be a phone number on back of your card that you will call to complete the activation. Safeguard the PCARD number upon receipt. Keep the PCARD in a safe location. Do not fax, email, or write down the card number. Provide sales tax exemption information to the merchant. Determine the exact amount of the purchase. Ensure shipping and handling charges are included in the stated price. Process transactions in Concur. A separate training module is available on the PCARD website to assist. Immediately report a lost or stolen card and notify the PCARD office of any change in your employment status. Here are the don'ts. Do not split a transaction in order to avoid the maximum limit. We will be reviewing transactions to see if this has occurred. Do not use a PCARD for personal purposes and other restricted uses. And do not loan or share your PCARD. The PCARD is simple to use. Just present the card to the merchant. Do not use petty cash for your purchases. You do not need a PO before making a purchase with a PCARD. Do not get cash back in advances. Include your tax-exempt information if applicable. PCARDs can be used at any merchant that accepts Visa. In-store purchases and internet purchases are allowed. Please make sure to use a reputable merchant with a secure website. If your card is declined and you have not exceeded your transaction and monthly limits, contact the PCARD office to determine the specific reason for the decline. The decline is most likely due to a blocked merchant category code, or MCC, which is a code selected by the merchant to identify what type category of goods or services they offer. Several MCC codes have been blocked on all cards to assist with the compliance of policies. Be sure to know your transaction and monthly limits. The decline may also be due to going over one of these limits. Here is information on how to handle receipt documentation. Keep original receipts for all PCARD transactions until you upload them into Concur. After receipts are uploaded, you can destroy them. Receipts must contain an itemized description of the items purchased, merchant name, transaction date, amount of purchase, and ship to address if the items are shipped. For internet purchases, print screens that display this required information. All efforts should be made to obtain a receipt. In the event you are unsuccessful, complete the missing receipt affidavit, which is available in Concur. This is not to be used routinely. Please be aware that excessive use of the missing receipt affidavit may result in revocation of your PCARD. Cardholders must process all transactions in Concur in accordance with the PCARD procedures and schedule. First, a cardholder places an order with a merchant. Next, the merchant sends the transaction to U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank will then forward the transaction to Concur for the cardholder to process. Because there is a delay in when the transaction is available in Concur, the cardholder will receive an email notification when the transaction is ready for processing. As transactions become available, cardholders must process each transaction. To complete the transaction processing in Concur, upload the receipt, enter the business purpose, and you no longer need to fill out a public purpose intent to purchase form for PCARD purchases because you will be identifying the business purpose in the field provided and have the option to include comments and attachments if necessary. Identify the expense type. You will select the appropriate NIGP code or commodity code from a drop-down list. And funding source. Enter the cost center string. Confirm you have entered the correct fund, department, division, unit activity, and account information. We realize the following exceptions may occur when processing transactions. A lost or missing receipt. Remember, if an itemized receipt cannot be obtained, indicate this in Concur by use of the missing receipt affidavit. Sales tax was paid. Address by following the procedures outlined in making a purchase on the PCARD website. PCARD charge needs to be disputed. In these instances, follow the procedures outlined on the PCARD website. The cardholder is responsible for contacting the merchant and/or U.S. Bank about any inaccurate charges, returns, or disputed items. Disputed billing can result from failure to receive goods or services charged, fraud or misuse, altered charges, defective merchandise, incorrect amounts, duplicate charges, and credits not processed. All billing dispute cases need to be initiated within 60 days from the transaction post date in Concur. Make arrangements with the merchant before shipping an item for return. A credit to the same U.S. bank account may be issued by the merchant for returned goods, or you may exchange the item. If the exchange is not an even transaction, such as dollar amounts are not the same, it's best to ask the merchant to credit the full amount of the item you are returning and complete a new transaction for the new item. Do not allow merchants to refund cash for a credit card return. In the unlikely event that a merchant will only provide a cash refund, please notify the PCARD office immediately. If the merchant insists that they can only give a cash receipt, keep the item and contact the PCARD office. Do not accept cash. Document all returns and exchanges. This information may be needed for a formal dispute of the charge. If the P-card is lost or stolen, first contact U.S. Bank immediately by phone. The number to call is available on the P-card website. Second, complete the lost or stolen card form on the P-card website and submit it to the P-card office. Fraud is unauthorized use of a card by a third party. Common fraud situations include transactions on a lost or stolen card, transactions occurring outside the cardholder's home area, counterfeiting, and internet transactions from an unknown site. Abuse is improper P-card use by the knowledgeable cardholder that is excessive and habitual. If abuse occurs, your P-card could be suspended or revoked. You may also be subject to disciplinary action up to and including termination. If you suspect fraud, contact the PCARD office and U.S. Bank immediately. The approver responsibilities are to review all charges, receipts, transaction notes, and supporting documentation and concur to verify charges are appropriate and allocated to the correct cost center. Also, to ensure the transaction processing is completed by cardholder in accordance with the PCARD schedule and guidance provided by the PCARD office. The approver listed on the cardholder's application needs to be someone that is in the cardholder's reporting chain of command. Guidelines for the approver process are outlined in the approver responsibility procedures on the website. The PCARD office's responsibilities are conduct daily reviews of cardholder transactions, conduct reviews of security and roles, and perform routine reviews of PCARD accounts to ensure compliance. Please note your accounts will be audited and the reports of these audits may be sent to the Office of Internal Audit. Ready to test your knowledge? Let's get going. Your PCARD training is complete. Please proceed to the PCARD test in PowerDMS to earn the cardholder training certificate.